guys, I'm not sure how many of you know Mohit Gupta, our friend who's trying to get everybody to read a little more. On asking why he's so passionate about reading and above all, making everyone around him read more, this is what he had to say.
जितना पढ़ेंगे उतना बढ़ेंगे और जितना आसपास लोग ज़्यादा पढ़ेंगे हम सब मिलकर कायदे की बात कर पाएंगे.
I run word of mouth media and our team is full of young people who do not read as much as they should. So as their leader, I have to often sit them down and take them through what I really like in a book. With reduced attention spans, all they want to do is get it done quickly. This new series by Word of Mouth Media in partnership with the City Book Leaders is called Cover to Cover. Meaning I will read the book cover to cover or invite another leader I trust and give us the synopsis of what is in the pages and what I thought one can learn now from it. After that, if we like the synopsis, I encourage people to actually go and buy the book and read it cover to cover because there is nothing like books. The book I want to start with is called The Algebra of Happiness by Scott Galloway. Why I chose this book is this is a book about life, about happiness. It's also about work and career and raising children and loving and letting go. It's an easy read, easy on the eyes. In fact, some really profound concepts can be read in less than half a page. Very conversational. I love that about Galloway. We almost feel he's speaking to us directly. About the author, so Scott Galloway is a professor of brand strategy at NYU Stern School of Business. To his credit are a few failed startups. I love his candor and a whole lot of success. Despite teaching brand strategy, his book is almost like writing on life strategy. The book is divided into 4 easy parts: life, success, love, and health. From each of these parts, I have picked what I could relate to the most. Here it goes. Everyone knows happiness, stress, and tragedy. When we are young, in our 20s, it is full of dreams. College seems like pure magic. It's about road trips and casual relationships, mistakes that do not bother us as much. And then life hits us. We start working long hours. The car that we own is not what we had in mind. We hate our bosses hate us back. We find people, get hitched, have children, want a bigger house. And every once in a while we look back. Nothing seems right. Before we know, decades have passed, like that. And we wonder, what is all this about, don't we? There is, however, a bright side. It does get better. By the time we are in our 40s and 50s, we start to slow down and smell the roses again. Well, some of us do. And spend mindful time with our loved ones. And guess what? We think it's only happening to us, while all this stress, the running and managing, it happens to everyone. Just knowing that we are not alone is such a big relief. The most important decisions of our life. Ready? Choose the right partner. It will make all the difference. Our partner helps us smoothen our rough edges, make us shine, supports us from behind when we want to run, and can literally make or break our life. We end up making the mistake of looking at very superficial things in a partner. Good looks and great sex eventually constitutes only 10% of partnership. What will make the biggest difference later is if we share similar values. I'd go one step ahead and say if we really are with someone that feels wrong, especially on the value side, lose the partner. No use putting good money behind bad. We've all made our mistakes. Sweating versus watching. Scott says, and I'm going to quote this, the ratio of time you spend actually sweating to watching someone sweat is a forward-looking indicator of your success. He gives a very interesting example. If we find someone sitting in front of the TV watching sports the entire weekend, we are looking at someone with the possibility of failed marriage, maybe even a mediocre career. Vis-a-vis, someone working on themselves, their body and health and relations. Watching someone sweat versus sweating themselves. I'm a single mother. I run a creative communication agency called Word of Mouth Media. I travel extensively. I'm into fitness. I bike, I run, I cycle. I mentor people and continuously learn through my mentors. And I'm often asked, especially by women, how I manage so many things. My answer to them is always the same. Get up and act. Period. Don't think too much about it. Just act. It is that simple. Balance is a myth. Work it while we are young. Balance is for later, really. Work-life balance as a term is often used by people who are already successful. Everyone wants to be successful, whatever their definition of success is. But seriously, our youth is all we have. For us to get a balanced life, say by the time we are 50, we have to work and sweat it now when we are young. This time is not coming back. Be a partner. I love this the best. Share dreams, values, and loads. Partners push each other to be a better version of themselves. Do not keep scores. Please, it won't do us any good. Wipe the slate clean as much as possible. We will be surprised at the goodwill we will earn with our partners. And believe in second chances. Take affection back. We are all taught on how to care, how to love others. We may or may not do it, but we all talk about it. What we aren't taught is taking affection back. My good friend Aparna told me a few years back, "Jitna pyar mile batol lo." It is a beautiful expression and it stays with me always. I'm now learning to take affection back from my family, from my friends, my kids, anyone that shares any part of my life journey. Give someone a good death. Parenting is spoken about very often. Having children, what a joy it is, etc., etc. But seldom do we speak about the satisfaction caregiving can give us. My parents are getting old and we stay together. I don't know when they became children and I took over the role of being their parent. I hope I can give them a good death, just like they gave me a beautiful life. Be strong. It also means different things at different times. Working 16 hours a day, gulping black coffees, hitting the gym and going back to work the next day all seemed so doable when we were young. As we grow, we realize that the definition of health changes. Being able to deal with situation without losing your calm, this is the new strong. Cry. There's enough emphasis on crying, how it is important for mental health. Good thing is that the stigma attached to crying is going away. I'll quote from the book. Crying as a result of happiness is a response to a moment as if it's eternal. The person is frozen in a blissful, immortalized present. I was in Hong Kong last year with my son. We were at Disney World watching The Lion King live. It's a 30 minutes act by artists from Africa and China. Into the act and I started to swell up. Tears started to roll down. And my 13-year-old looks at me and he says, "What is wrong with you? I mean, we are in Disney World, for God's sake." And all I could tell him was, "This is so beautiful." That part of crying was beauty for me. In the end, relationships are all that matter. Scott ends the book with one beautiful line, and I felt this summarizes it all. Invest in relationships. Ultimately, this is all that matters. Okay, so disclaimer, the book is thick and there is no way I can do justice to what's inside in a few minutes. I strongly recommend that we read The Algebra of Happiness by Scott Galloway and keep reading in general. I will be back with another book summary soon. Thank you for watching Cover to Cover, because there is nothing like books.